Welcome to the new show of Chai with Director Rai at IIMI. Today we have with us Mr. M.M. Murugappan, a visionary leader, industry trailblazer, and a lifelong learner. Let's dive into the mind of the man behind the legacy. Sir, you've had a remarkable journey from leading the Murugappa group to mentoring startups at IT Madras. Looking back, was there a defining moment that shaped your leadership style?
I think the defining moment, Himanshu, is one of being thrown into a position of responsibility very young. I lost my father at a very young age. And suddenly I found myself as a head of a nuclear family, as part of a larger family with a legacy, tradition, business history, etc. And that, I think, the whole premise of what I needed to do. I would say a defining moment in my life because I was 23 years old and I had this huge responsibility which I didn't allow it to weigh on me, but I think privately I did.
I'm sure because I find resonance in what happened with Mr. J.R.D. Tata, which was exactly something similar that it was almost thrust onto him at a very, very young age. Okay. So, with your deep involvement in industry academia partnerships, what's one change you would like to see happen in the Indian education that has not happened yet?
The focus, Himanshu, I wish at every stage is on learning outcomes.
Right.
And not on enrollment. Enrollment is required. I think everybody must have an opportunity in India to have a good education, regardless of their economic status. Even so, the focus at every level should be on learning outcomes rather than enrollment. This is my desire for India. And I think this will be the best for our country going forward.
Absolutely, which is something that we zealously follow at IIM Indore, where the focus is on learning outcome. And in fact, for every session, we have a learning outcome which is attached to whatever is being delivered in each of those sessions.
Wonderful.
You know, you're a multifaceted personality. Music, theater, crosswords, so many creative passions. Have any of these ever inspired your approach to leadership or problem solving?
Music. I think two things are logical in this world. One is mathematics and the other is music.
Interesting.
So these two are logical. And it's very, very simple. I'll give you a simple example. Carnatic music, which I follow and I like very much, is the focus is on what they call the sahitya, the lyrics,
Right.
as also on the rag. And the other focus is also on the tal, what in South India they call talam. So it is absolutely logical, it is mathematical. So much so, I have seen where the late Pandit Zakir Hussain can go on to a Carnatic music stage and play his tabla as a percussion instrument, not knowing anything else, not knowing even the other artists on stage, purely because of his mastery, not only of the instrument, but of mathematics. So this to me has been a very important feature in life. I like logical thought. I know oftentimes you can't be logical always, but in leadership you have to be, there's some amount of instinct you have to follow. But clearly I would like to see, when I reflect and introspect, to see whether there was a certain logic behind the instinct as well.
I'm a fan of MS Subbulakshmi as well, and I think she does bring out the Carnatic music in its true form. Wonderful. Now, coming from a family legacy, how do you balance tradition with modern business thinking? And any tough moments where you had to challenge the norm?
Interesting question. If I have to look at myself, And if I look at what I think I try to stand for, first of all, India means a lot to me. India means a lot to me, and I feel that I'm very privileged. And the only thing that I can do, in my view, is to be useful around my sphere of influence. And my sphere of influence, you tend to define it as to what you like, what you enjoy, what you're responsible for, etc. So, in a sense, I look at myself as a custodian to a heritage. Why? Is that my great grandfather was a mere office boy. He went to Burma. He was obviously smart and he built a business. And when he made some money, he built a hospital in our village, which runs even till today.
Wonderful.
It's more than 100 years. My wife actually looks after it. She goes every month. It's a small hospital, but we've equipped it well. We do not charge. So, in a sense, I'm a custodian to heritage. And there is the Indian tradition. It's not really a Tamil tradition, it's an Indian tradition, and then perhaps a regional tradition, and then perhaps an ethnic tradition and a personal tradition. So I look at myself as a custodian to a heritage. I look at myself a trustee to a tradition. And if I look back, all this, how has it been built? It's built, according to me, by three things: dignity, independence, and discipline. And that's something that I aspire towards. I don't know whether I'm able to do it always. I don't sort of check myself. This is not my checkbox. But whatever I do, I try to look at it from that lens.
Wonderful. I mean, that's really wonderful. And other than this, you've been deeply involved in sustainability and innovation. Now, if you could create a Murugappa innovation challenge, what would it focus on?
You know, Himanshu, for me, the one thing that I always am very concerned about is the well-being of people. You know, I have everything I need. I have access to the best healthcare, etc. But if I go to the root cause of healthcare, good health, I mean, apart from many things, and particularly in our country, it's about water. And that's why even at IIM, I know that we have a focus on water. And I was just thinking about it, that I needed to meet up with Shruti and ask her whether it, just to how things were going. But I couldn't yesterday. But it just happened that she came up to me after the convocation and talked about it. And I said, next time I'm here, I'll just spend the day with you just to find out how we are progressing on it. Now, why do I say water? I see water is going to be a very, very scarce commodity in the future across India. I mean, regardless of what areas are rain-fed or not, etc., this is going to be a problem. Good quality water. And for me, this is something that you can think about because you also travel a lot. The difference between, in my view, the difference between a developing country and a developed country is, in a developed country, you can drink water off the tap.
Running water, absolutely.
You can drink running water. Now, my dream is, when can we do that in India? At least we must make an attempt.
Right.
We must make an attempt. So what we are doing in a small way in the foundation is to revive water bodies so that the farmers can get an additional crop during the year. It helps their livelihood. Hopefully, it will keep the next generation also interested in farming. But more than anything else, the birds have started coming back. The natural diversity has increased. I mean, there are so many things. And also, we've insisted that local leadership, whether it's the Gram Panchayat or the local area or the local governmental agents, etc., we don't mind who takes the credit, but nobody will interfere in this because this is for the community.
Absolutely.
And I think if this thought process comes in, India will really progress in many dimensions.
Absolutely. I mean, history teaches us that civilizations are always built around freshwater bodies.
Exactly.
And which is why at IIM Indore, we have both the rural engagement program, where we try to look at the situation of water in the villages of Madhya Pradesh to begin with, and the Himalayan outbound program, because the Himalayas, the Himalayan glaciers, they provide fresh water to almost two-thirds of the Indian subcontinent. And I'm so glad that, we resonate on this.
No, absolutely. And I really want to do a lot more. It's not just about technology only. It's all about advocacy. It's about policy. It's about ensuring good health for the community.
Absolutely.
Because in India, we just don't have adequate healthcare facilities or even doctors for that matter for the size of our country.
Right.
So therefore, unless we can be healthy, then we have a good nation. So that's the dream. It's sort of indirect, but this is something. So the sustainability challenge will be all around water. And we have a small company called Murugappan Water Technology and Solutions.
Interesting.
It's a very small company in the group. It is run by a group of very passionate people. They don't make too much money, but I've told them that unless you make money, you can't plow it back. So they are working on some wastewaters, etc. So this is something that I spend time on still, although I have stepped back from the leadership of the group.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, you wear many hats, sir. Business leader, mentor, trustee, and even a theater enthusiast. If your life were a play, what would the title be?
If my life were a play, what would the title be? Quite honestly, I've never thought about it. You always think about all the world is the stage, and we are mainly players.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what we have been brought up on, and you've stumped me on this one, quite honestly.
No, but this would do. The world's a stage.
Yeah. No, the world's stage is something that I resonate with, quite honestly. I'm not a playwright, or perhaps I'm not as creative as a playwright could be, but quite honestly, the best way I can answer it is what resonates with me is that all the world's a stage.
Fantastic. And now, since you said that you got stumped there, here are some more googlies. So we're going to start with a rapid fire
Okay.
for you. And you're not supposed to think at all.
I'm not.
You have to give us the first answer that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Filter coffee in Chennai or a cappuccino in Italy?
Neither. Neither.
Chai with Director Rai.
Good masala chai with the
Good masala chai. All right. What's one business decision you made purely on instinct and got it right?
Got it right temporarily.
Okay.
Temporarily, I'm saying after 17 years. But got it right in the first stage.
Okay.
I took the opportunity to invest in Russia
Interesting.
17 years ago. All right. Why did I do it? One of our businesses required power. And we were in the state of Kerala, and I was looking for a power plant. We already had a power plant. I used to knock at the doors of every new government that came in Kerala. Kerala has this unique ability of switching governments. Every government, I would go knock at the door. And I wouldn't get it. And there was an opportunity that came up in Russia. I had to convince our board. I had to convince our board, shareholders, more than anything else, convince my family as a major shareholder. But I went there a couple of times. I found that the team of people in this company, it was an old, state-owned company, but I found the team of people, they could hardly speak English. But somehow it resonated. We were in the same business, we needed power. Says, Mr. Murugappan, don't worry. That was the first conversation I had with my colleague who runs the business there. The second time is, please don't worry, I am telling you. Please don't worry. And he came and visited our plants in India as well. I am very similar. Please don't worry. I think that was good enough for me to say it made eminent business sense, but more than anything else, I thought I had a leader of that plant who could take things forward. He's the leader till today.
Wow.
And why do I say temporarily? Because of the war, we have been impacted, but we still will soldier on because I'm the eternal optimist that the war will end soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, golf, theater, or classical music? Which one defines you best? You have to pick up only one.
I would say golf.
Golf.
Yeah.
Great. What's harder, winning a tough negotiation or solving a cryptic crossword?
Solving a cryptic crossword, for sure. The days I have really, I very seldom speak ill of somebody else or even otherwise, even jokingly. But I have really cursed a person within myself is the fellow who set the crossword. And, and invariably, I would come home or I would discuss this with my wife, Pinky, and she would have already solved it. And that made it even.
That makes it worse.
But the cryptic crossword, for sure.
Right? A habit or routine you swear by for staying sharp?
Yoga.
Yoga.
Every day, every morning.
Perfect. Perfect. If leadership were a sport, which one would it be?
A team sport, actually.
Okay.
A team sport. I used to play first division hockey in Chennai. I think the important thing to me was there was an objective. And there were many times, I used to play on either wing, either the left wing or the right wing. And there were many times you could be in a position since you've broken away, but if you found your colleague, your teammate in a better position to score, you passed it to him. So a team sport to me is really what matters.
Perfect. A book that shaped your perspective on leadership or life?
Very clearly, the Tao of Leadership.
Okay.
The Tao Te Ching was it's ancient Chinese writing. It was written in the BC era. And I think different Chinese dynasties had different perspectives on life. And this Chinese dynasty had a perspective on leadership. And clearly, I would say it shaped my life and it continues. I read 3 pages of it every day. Each page is a chapter. There are 81 chapters. And I read every evening before going to bed. I must have read each chapter many, many, many times. But that day, that chapter would make sense on reflection and introspection.
Absolutely. In a different context.
In a different context.
Absolutely. What's one thing people assume about you, but it isn't true?
I think they assume that I'm a very serious character.
Our students wouldn't say that after the convocation thing last evening.
No, it's not that I make an effort not to be serious. I just like to be with people because I just learn so much from them. But yet, I am quiet because I don't like to speak out of turn. Many times they think I'm a very serious character. So this is something which is absolutely not true.
Absolutely.
Even my grandson thinks I'm a serious character.
Okay. Now, what's the most unexpected place where you have had a eureka moment?
You know, it was also on a golf course.
Interesting.
I'll tell you why. Everyone in golf aspires to get a hole in one. Nobody aspires to get a tree in one. A tree in one. Because we played, I teed up, and then I went searching for my ball. And there was a compatriot, partner, but he was on the other team. We play a 4-baller. His ball was on the green. And my ball, I knew, hit the trees. And I was going all around searching for it in the hope my next shot will get to me. And he goes, measures the distance between his ball and the hole, and he goes near the hole. Arey, there's a ball inside. And he picks it up. He says, hey, no, whose ball is this? And mine.
Wow.
So it was not my ability or efforts. It is the assistance of a tree and which nobody watched. So
Wonderful.
the Eureka moment is do things, don't care about who's watching.
Yeah, and miracles just might happen. Wonderful, wonderful. What's that one thing you have always wanted to learn but never got around to?
Cooking. I got around to cooking, but only I had to eat it.
You didn't do it well?
I just somehow never, just the ability to be creative, just to add that little embellishment which will provide that flavor. So I'm in awe of creative people who just do make that just a little adjustment. I do know some theater personalities, some singers, and a singer who would look at the audience and make that little tweak to resonate with them. That's an ability that I don't have. That's something that I really want. I said cooking because you just put that little final touch, which makes a whole difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you could relive one year of your life, which one would it be and why?
I would say my last year at high school.
Uh-huh.
The last year at school, and that time we went for 11 years. I don't know whether you went for 12 years or 11 years, but
12.
we went for 11. It was the senior Cambridge and then the Indian school certificate. And in the last year, there was a boarding school. Now, my parents thought there was too much luxury at home, so I went to boarding school at the age of 8. So I continued in boarding school. And in boarding school, if you did fairly well in academics, if you did well in sport, and you were involved with the theater, other extracurricular activities, the little kids worship the ground floor.
Absolutely.
I had teachers who built character. And I'll give you this one story, which I only narrate as a story. A very close friend of mine still, a classmate, Dilip, just before lunch was the English class. And William McMahon was our teacher. Interestingly, he was from Mao.
Okay.
William McMahon was from Mao. His parents were now. He was single. And bless his soul, no more. William McMahon was our teacher. He took Dilip's pen for something. And William McMahon used to smoke. So he was sitting on, as we were just finished lunch, we were outside in the arena. And Mac was this back towards us smoking. And I knew it was Mac. And Dilip told me, oh, Mac the bastard hasn't returned my pen. And I was squirming here because William McMahon was there. And I knew it. He turns around and he says, Dilip, Mac the bastard has returned your pen. He did not reprimand him.
Interesting.
But he actually gave it to him because he knew that he should have returned it to him. I used to ask Mac this later on, and he remembered this story for a long time. So this was something which still resonates. Don't jump to conclusions, don't make assumptions. There may be a reason.
I can well imagine. Yeah. Okay, now here comes the last question. Describe IIM Indore in 3 words.
If I took Sanskrit, what I see all around me every time, even when I go for a walk inside the campus, it would be Siddhi Moolam Karva.
Brilliant.
And I've reflected on this. So it says, management, what is it? It's not management for the sake of managing a business. I think it's about management overall. Yourself, a business, an institution, a country, the world. So that is something that I am, and I hope it will only be enhanced. You have a responsibility, and so do I. And I hope we can do it together.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was such a pleasure talking to you, Murugu sir, and thank you very much for being on our show.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. It was a surprise, and I hope I have won some more friends.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot many admirers once the show hits
I-
social media.
And I hope I get to meet many of them because I always learning from everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.